when I was in the midst of it, I had this like total life-changing moment with God while I was brushing my teeth one morning. Like, I just feel like all the good moments happen like in the shower or while you're brushing your teeth. And I felt like God asked me, Steph, if I told you that you would get married to the right person at the right time and that I totally had this covered, how would you live your life today? And like that question totally changed everything for me
Mm.
because I had been waiting. I hadn't meant to necessarily, but I'd kind of been waiting, living in a holding pattern. I'd been waiting instead of like really living my life, thinking that if I went here, if I did this differently or something, I'd miss him. But if I knew that God really had this covered, I would just live really fully. I would just like do it up. And if I knew that this person was coming eventually, I knew that there were some pieces of my house that I wanted to get in order before I got there. There were some things I needed to talk about in counseling. There were some things I needed some healing from. Like there were just some things I needed to do before that time came. And so I felt like believing that God really had it covered, I was able to use that time really well and enjoy it really fully. And therefore, like all of those things are the reason that I was in the right place at the right time to meet Carl. They're the reason that he asked me on a date in the first place. And they've set us up so much better for marriage than I was so much better prepared for marriage than I would have been if I had just been like kind of sitting around waiting.
Mm.
And I had this moment with God. Carl and I went to Italy a couple years ago, and we'd been trying for about a year at that point. And it was the first time that my period was like actually late. And it wasn't like late, late. It was just like a little late. But
Mhm.
that was enough for me to like, I like wrote the whole story in my head. We're in
Yeah.
Italy. It's beautiful. We find out we're pregnant. Finally, like, this is amazing, God. And it was like the second I finally got my hopes up, then of course it started. And I was crushed. And I, decided to go outside and just take a little walk for a minute. And the second I got outside, I felt God ask me that very same question. Like, if I told you that you would have a baby at the right time, if you knew that I have this covered, how would you live your life today? And it just brought all of those lessons back, all the things that I'd been sharing with women for so long, but just in a whole different way. That like this season before we have kids was really special. Like it's just Carl and I. We get to really focus on our marriage and our friends and our families, and we were in Italy. We get to travel. We get to do work we really care about and like stay up way too late doing it. And like we're not neglecting any children by doing that. And we just I was able to see in a new light that like this season was really special, and I wanted to use it really well. And also there were some things I wanted to get in order in my house before kids showed up. Again, like some new things I wanted to talk about in counseling and like some different things I had to go through. And so it just reminded me that like really when we can be present in the present, that's where God is. And that's where
Mm.
all the lessons he has for us are. And that's where his goodness is. And he has so many gifts for us today that we won't have in the same way in the next season. And when we like, I knew that by really embracing those things as a single person, my marriage is so much better because of it. And I'm not quite there yet, but like I know that because of the way that we lived our married without kids season, I'm going to be a better mom for it.
Mm.